Hello friends, welcome. So today's session we will be discussing a very important use case which will help during our test automation. So let's understand what we'll be learning here first. This is your application under test. So let's assume this is your web application. So it can be any mobile app or APIs or anything. And what you do, we normally follow the page object models. Let's consider that. So this is your page object model and then you have defined your page object. And this is your test scripts, automated test scripts. So how the working is, when you run the test, your tests go to the POM, right? They understand that how the page is and then it interacts with the web application. Now the important use case in your web automation journey is that there is continuous maintenance of this web application. During the course of time, every sprint maybe some elements changes. So it might be the case that today when you will be running the scripts, this is an application 2, version 2, because some of the elements are changed here. So now when you run the test and page object will interact with this web app, your test cases will fail because there is slight modification with the web app. Now the problem is, though we do the automation maintenance, but we are not completely sure that which pages needs to be updated because of the new requirements. So we do know somehow, but we don't know the exact elements. As a result, you run your scripts, you run your 1K test cases of regression suite, they fail, and then you start analyzing them and then you update the POM. So this is very reactive approach. Once the test case fails, then you do the maintenance. With the help of AI, you can be proactive. In case of AI, it will work like this. So again, this is your web app and this is your page object model and this is your test. So how it works is that you will prepare one test script that will check whether the web application has changed or not. Let me just explain it. So we will use the help of AI here, the LLM. So what it will do, when you give a test script to the POM, so first what will do, POM will interact with the AI. AI will have the knowledge of this POM and then AI will have the knowledge of this page source code. So we will tell the AI that this is the POM and this is the page source. Can you please validate the elements of the page object model are present in this page source? Are they valid or not? These allocators. If this is valid, it will give true. If it is not valid, if it is false. So just consider a situation before running your test script. You run this one test that will compare your all page object models with your web application. If there is any change, it will let you know that these elements needs to be updated because of change in the source code. You can quickly fix those page object models and then you trigger your test execution. In earlier case, once the test scripts fails, then you were fixing it. In this case, in advance that which page object models needs to be updated, hence test scripts will not fail now. In this session, we will be understanding how to prepare this model so the page objects and web app can interact with LLMs and AI to give this intelligence to our page objects. So that's our simple use case. To start with, I have one Playwright folder with me. I'm using Visual Studio Code. So I will be working with Playwright with Python. Let me create one requirements.txt where I will be putting the dependencies which I need. So these are the dependencies which I need. I need the Playwright library. I need the PyTest for running off my test cases and the OpenAI to interact with the AI. Now let me install these dependencies. So let me open my terminal and I have Python already installed. Let me just update my pip. So if Python is not installed on your system, please install the Python. For my case, it was already. Now let me write pip install requirements. So what it will do, it will download all these dependencies. Now what I need to do is I need to install the browsers for the Playwright. So I will write Playwright install So it is already installed for me, so there was no commands. For your case, it will be downloading Chromium and others. Now once it is done, let me just give you that what the website we will be using. So this is a very basic website which is created. So it just has a login page and the username password is mentioned here. So you can just write username and password as password123, and there would be one dashboard page which just gives 3 products and its inventory, and you can just click on logout. So let ask the ChatGPT first to create the page object model for this page. So what I will do, I will right click and click on view page source, and I will click on this. Let me go to ChatGPT and ask, please create for below page source. I am using Playwright with Python. Okay, and below is the source code. So what it will do, it will create the page object for me. So it has said it is a login page, and it has added one function, that is load a page, and one is the login page where the locator is has ended is username, password, and click on login. So it has gone one step and given the script as well. We need just the page object. So the page object is login page.py. In our workspace, we will create a folder of page objects, and inside that I will create one file. We will just name it this login page.py, and we will paste the code here. Now let us do one thing. Let's navigate to the dashboard page and again ask the ChatGPT to create the page object for it. So let me view its page source, copy this page source, and again ask the ChatGPT, again create form for dashboard page. So it will create a form. It is added one function of get product rows. So basically the row number if I provide, it will give the data for it, and there should be a logout as well. Okay, so it has given the logout function as well. So let me copy this and name it as page dashboard page.py dashboard, and let me put it here. As per our use case, what we are trying to do now, we have the page objects. If I give this page object and the web page to the LLM, will it be analyzed or not? Let's see that. So in the ChatGPT, let me ask that below is the form for my automation, and the form for the login page is this. So let me copy this and paste it here, and then let me say, and the page source is shared below. Please verify the page object model are all elements valid or not. If valid, return true, and if not, return false with the mismatches. Right, and I need to give the page source. So first we are doing login, so let me just get the page source. So we know that we are giving the valid page source and we are giving the valid page object model is. So it should return true. Let's see how it is going. Yes, so it has given true. The worded is true. The page object is valid because for this page source we have the correct page object model. Let's try to do one thing. Let me just update the page object here and make it incorrect. That is, the username now in my page object is something different, and the source code is different. So let me just copy this again and I will make the changes here only. In the page object, let me update the username. Let me copy this and share it to ChatGPT. And let's see what is given. It is giving false. It is saying that the username in my current form is this, and while in the HTML is this, so you need to update it. See how good it was, and it saved me a lot of time. If I have not done these changes, so my all the today execution might have failed, and then I have to debug each and every script what is the reason of failures. With this script, I will know in advance that something is changed and I need to update the scripts if they're valid. If not, then I can connect with the developer. Is it a bug or not? So this is working fine with the ChatGPT. But now if we want to automate this process, then we need to use the OpenAI. We all know that this is a ChatGPT, so this is a user interface, but the model, the behind model which it is using is OpenAI. Let me just go to OpenAI developer account. Let me just write it here. This one, OpenAI platform. So this is a OpenAI developer account. So basically you need to create one account here. I will just log in with my account. So once you sign up here, you will go to the settings and then you need to go to the billing section. You need to add some payment here. You need to add at least $5 here. So once you do a payment, so it will be shown that your credit balance is this. You can check your usage through here, that how much usage you have done. As more you use, your tokens will be start consuming here and this billing will reflect your current status. This is needed because through our automation, we cannot use a ChatGPT UI interface. We need an API access to the OpenLLM, the AI models. So we will go to the API keys and you can create your new key. You can just give it a name and then you will create a secret key and copy that secret key. You can use now this secret key in your code. So as much as you start using this, your tokens will start be consuming in and your amount will be start utilizing it. So that's why I have used a simple website, because the more data you put, the more tokens it will consume. So this is a basic website, though you won't be using your more tokens. It's a very simple website. Now you just copy this API, we will be using it for further communication. So I have written a test file. Either you can ask the ChatGPT to do it or you can write it your own. So let me just explain what it does. So we have included the dependencies and started our browser from the Playwright for Chromium. And we have created an object for our login page and we have navigated to this website. And then we are logging it using the login method of the login page. Once login, we are just verifying we are on a dashboard page. And then what we are doing is we are making check with the dashboard function get products that there are currently 3 products and what are the product names and the amount. We are verifying it. And after that we are doing the logout and then we are closing the browser. So it's a very simple test. So let me run the pytest command here. So the browser is login, it was quick, fast, we know how Playwright works and the test case is fast. Now coming back to our use case. So what I need is that to the OpenAI we need to enter 2 main stuffs. The one is the page source code and a page object. So I have pasted a code here. So what this is doing basically, once the user navigates to the home page of the website, we have created a variable source code. As the name suggests, it will get the page source code. So what we are going to the page of the login and using this function content from the Playwright, it gives the full HTML contents of the page including the doc type. So it returns the complete page code and we are saving it to this variable. Next, what we are doing is we need the page object code, this login page object. So we are just reading this file. We have told that to open the file, this login page, and just read it and save it to a location of source code. That is for page object. So we have source code for the dev code and we have source code from the page object. So I have also just added a beautiful commenting here for the login source HTML code and the page object code. And let me run it and see is it able to print it or not. Okay, so it has completely worked. So it has printed the page object, our POM code and as well as our HTML page code. Now what we need to do, we need to compare both of them and send it to the AI model. As we done it past in the ChatGPT, we ask the ChatGPT to compare it and it give true and false if there is no change, and false if there is change. So we have already our key from the OpenAI. We will be using it and we will be passing to the AI model. So what I have done, I have created one file here, verify with OpenAI. So first our objective is to see that are we able to successfully connect it with the OpenAI as well or not. So in this file, I have entered my API key. So I will recommend not to enter in here. Either you add in your variables or you just create a separate file, add it there. In our case, we have added our OpenAI key. As I mentioned, you can get your keys from here, API keys. Similarly, I have created one function, ask OpenAI. So what is basically it is doing is that there you need to enter the model, that what model we are using it. So where there are various models of ChatGPT 4, 4o, mini and others, but I think 4 is best suited for our need. And then what we are saying is the message. So basically others are the default. What we are basically needing here is the prompt. So what we are saying is that whatever prompt we will be asking this question, it will use the ChatGPT 4 model and it will ask the model, and whatever the response it is getting it will throw it as a content of this model. So in my test login file, I have just imported this function, and what I am doing is I am just calling this function, ask OpenAI how are you, and I am just printing the response. Let me just comment the older print statements as well, so we are able to clearly view the response from the AI. Now let me run this again. So browser will open, we are not concerned about that, but what the response from the AI. As you can see, we have got this response from the AI. So what did we ask? How are you? So it has given, as an artificial intelligence, I don't have feelings and other stuff. If I ask another question, can you code for me? Save it and run this. I'm just demonstrating that how we successfully connected with the AI. Yeah, as an AI developer developed by OpenAI, I can certainly have generate the code snippet. So what we got is that our AI model is working fine. Now back to what we need to do is we need to now, instead of this prompt, I will just comment it. Instead of this prompt, we want to send this login page source and our HTML code, and we will ask a question here that can you compare both of them. So instead of giving the default prompt, we are giving a prompt that below is the page source. So we know what is the page source from here, from our HTML page source, and below is the POM. So we have got the POM, we have read the file and data is saved into this page object source code. If it is correct and no changes in the POM, give true, else false. So what we asked on the ChatGPT, now we are asking the same but with the help of OpenAI keys. Now let me save this and run it. So it is opening the page, it will be getting all the data, and you can see it has returned true. So true means that our POM is currently valid with the page object. Let's test this again as we done in the ChatGPT, and let me just change the username back to 1. And let me update as well this prompt. In case of false, share the details. Because if it is false, I want to know that what are the changes which are in the POM and page object model. We just save and run this again. Okay. So it is comparing. So you can see here it is taking time. And it has given that the answer is false. The details that need to be rectified is the ID in the line where we are trying to locate the username. So it has given me what is the changes that currently we have entered 1. It has given the code as well, what changes, new changes you need to do. So this is working perfectly fine. Our use case is done. Now let's revamp it so that we can use it better, because currently we have added here as a static test. Instead, make it as a function, because currently we are being navigated to login, and in the future we need to navigate to a dashboard page as well. So convert it into a function so we can easily call it. So what I have done in my OpenAI file, I have created one function that verify POM with AI. So it is taking two arguments. One is the page source, one is the page object code, and whatever the code which we have written here that asked OpenAI and all the stuff, the data, we have just preparing a prompt here and just asking here itself and just returning it true and false. And in our test function, I'm just commented the older code, and once there is a login, for example, the login was done here. After doing the login, we are just adding an if and else. We are calling this function, we are passing the HTML page content and the location of our page object file. And we are just printing if it is true that the verification was correct, and if it is not, it was the verification false. Similarly, once the dashboard is navigated, again we are just calling this function. Now it is a cleaner code. What you can do in your page object models, you can just write this function that it is called again and again whenever an object is created. But in that case, it will consume the API keys, your tokens, whenever it is called. So the best recommendation is create one test file which navigates to every page and it verifies your page object. Let me just run it and see how it's working now. I'm not bothered about the UI. So see here we are getting login page verification passed and dashboard page verification passed. So if you have a 50 page application, you can just write down this logic once every day. Just run it to make sure that your page objects and your POM are in sync. This will save your lot of time. Once the application is developed and automated and it is in maintenance, I would say rather 30 to 40% of an SDET time went into this maintenance activity. With using of this AI, it can come down to at least 50%. If it was 30%, now it will be only 15%. Because you know in advance only that there is some changes and you need to update your POM before running off the test cases, before analyzing this. This is a proactive approach. Hope so guys you like this use case. If you like, please show your love by liking and subscribing the channel. Thank you.